And if you saw him at the feuds and the fantastic debates this week, you know him from there too. So, Dominic Monaghan. So, sir, how have you enjoyed your Fantastic Fest experience so far?
I describe it as fantastic. No, it's been great. This is one of the more kind of casual, well, easily the most casual film festival I've ever been to. You know, you just get a chance to hang out and spend time with each other. And the films have been great. And I'm not crazy on the Texan weather. So I went to a shooting range today, and we were in the Blair in Harsan. It was like 104 or something like that. And you know, shooting machine guns tends to make you a little bit sweaty anyway. So doing it in the summer's a nightmare. But yeah, it's been great.
And what would you like to say about the film before we show it?
I guess, you know, it was like a real passion project for a lot of people. No one got paid. I know, right? It's economy, I guess. Yeah, no one really got paid. It was relatively, you know, shitty conditions, raining, cold. But we all loved the script and we all loved what we were doing. It was shot in sequence. It was, you know, for most of the part, kind of one location. So we really got a chance to feel those locations and be those characters, and we had a really good time. It was kind of an arduous shoot, but I was really happy with the way that it turned out.
Well, there's a lot that we can't talk about yet, but that will be fun to discuss afterwards. So everybody make sure you hang around after, and we'll see you back here, and enjoy the day.
Great is Ashley Bell in that movie. Like, I want to tie a hair ribbon around my bloody wound after I've, you know, cut a girl's head off. I want to do that shit.
She seems like she's a really physical performer, both in this and in The Last Exorcism. Like, her work is really outrageous. Like, she'll go for it. In terms of when you guys are shooting something like this, and you are on location and you're removed from pretty much all creature comforts, does that help you in this experience then to bond with those people and to have that experience where you're doing it real time, shooting in chronology and kind of living with them the entire time?
It definitely does help. I mean, in terms of Ashley, she was a fencer when she was younger. She didn't make fences. I think she fought with swords. Yeah. So, and I think she'd done a little ballet and dance and stuff. So she's very physically capable. The interesting thing about Ash is that she's like just really, really sugary sweet in real life, you know, just like smiley and very, very sweet and doesn't curse and you know, calls her mom and all that kind of stuff. So it's weird that she has this, like, you know, crazy two characters that are a little messed up, you know. For me, I kind of approached it a little different. I was only there for like half the shoot, and because I was this almost curmudgeon kind of leader, you know, just emotionless and barking out orders and trying to make things happen without getting involved in emotion. I did hang out with the cast, but I wasn't as friendly and affable as I ordinarily would be, you know, and I smoked cigarettes on it, which was not fun, because cigarettes tend to make me feel ill, so I felt kind of like, you know, physically a little ill and mentally a little ill because of it, and it was Canada, which was cold. So it all works. Yeah, the best idea for me is to try and make it feel and be as real as possible, you know.
Now, you and Sean are both listed as co-producers on the film. How did that happen? And at what point in the material, at what point did you get involved with it to kind of help get it on screen?
Yeah, we got involved at a point where the script had been written and they were trying to put things together. I knew Shannon, and I kind of knew Ash a little bit, so I think kind of tacking me into the movie also allowed Shannon to come on board and Ashley, and I think, you know, it allowed the casting to lock in a little bit more. And then you just get to a point, well, I got to a point in my career where I started thinking, if I want to make progress, not only as an actor, but just in the industry, I need to start generating my own stuff and being a little bit more proactive with my own stuff. And the way you do that is just to start getting involved on a more grassroots level and as quickly as possible. So obviously a major studio picture isn't looking for a producer to get involved because they don't need that help, but like a smaller bunch of people might lean on you for ideas or scheduling or where they're going to shoot it or actors' ideas and stuff like that. So that was my involvement on it.
Let's go ahead and open it up to you guys. Take some questions from the audience. Yeah, right here.
I couldn't help but notice that there's a lot of similarities to Cormac McCarthy's The Road. Was there all the inspiration there?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That was the thing that they were talking about the most, I think, in terms of another movie. We'd all seen The Road. They had asked us to see it when we were meeting the producers and stuff. That was at the same time where they told everyone that we were going to have shaved heads. They were going to shave everyone's head because of the fear of lice or something like that, just to see if any of the girls would bulk, and I don't think any of them did. Obviously, they didn't end up shaving all our heads. But yeah, The Road, the references were like The Road meets 28 Days Later. I'd always heard Doug Aarniokoski, which I wonder how much that's worth in Scrabble, that name. It's got a K in it and an I at the end, which is helpful, because you can build off the I. And 2 A's at the start, which is good. Doug had talked about this idea of kind of a Malick idea as well. There's a lot of nature in the foreground. Obviously the nature's kind of dying in the film, but there's a lot of bushes and trees and spider webs and, cobwebs and things like that. The kind of nature-y feeling of it all felt like Malick-y-ish, if that's a word. But the road for sure.
Okay. Anybody?
How
Yes.
long was the shoot? Or the shoot?
The entire shoot was 13 days. Yeah, which is amazing for a feature film. I've never shot a feature that quickly. I was only there for 6 of them. And I think the reason why they were able to do it so quick was because it was essentially one location. We walked to the house, and that walk that we're taking is the walk to the house along that railroad and up the road. And then once we're in the house, it's all very contained. 2 cameras shooting at the same time. We were shooting on red, which meant that we didn't have to do a huge kind of, loading of film and stuff like that. And just very, very fast. We did no rehearsals. The director didn't want us to rehearse at all. So he just made sure that we all knew our lines. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, roll camera. And if you fucked it up on take 1, then they do take 2 and take 3. But he didn't want any rehearsals, which a lot of the actors, probably like half of the actors were a little unsure about that. Like, why don't you want us to rehearse? And I think he wanted those moments where it just felt real in the scene. My favourite scene, for me at least, my actual favourite scenes are mainly scenes with Ashley, because I think she's so strong in it. But my favourite scene for me is the scene where Sean and I are talking at the table about, is that girl dead, and do you remember that time when we were down by the lake and all that kind of stuff. That was all improvisational stuff. I was supposed to be building a knife, which essentially breaks at the end of the scene, and all I'm supposed to say in that scene is, it feels weird when I think about it, and what I'm thinking about is whatever's happened to get us to the point where we're at in the world, and he's supposed to say, yeah, don't think about it, because I've done that and it doesn't work for me. And Doug just said, get to that point, but just fool around. And Sean and I wanted to definitely give the impression that we knew each other well. We'd been to school together. We'd hung out and all that kind of stuff. So that's how that worked. I wanted to ask the audience a question. If that's all right. It's a little presumptuous on me. My major challenge on this was to do an American accent. Did you guys notice I was doing an American accent? Did it work? Did it sound like me, or did it sound like me doing an American accent? It wasn't distracted. You weren't going, oh, he's doing an American accent. All right, cool. Because I saw it with Elijah, and obviously Elijah knows me well, and he knows the way that I speak. And I said to him, I don't really mind what you say about the film. It's fine. Everyone has their own opinion, but I'd love to know exactly what you think about my accent, because I need to make sure that it's not distracting or weird, or I don't sound like, Humphrey Bogart or something.
It's not like the Monty Python where it's the overdone American.
Right.
Do it now.
What?
Do it now.
Oh, absolutely not. I need money first.
I don't want an answer to the question, but did you guys answer for yourselves the questions about what did happen to kick everything off?
I did. I don't think my answer was the same as everyone else's.
So there wasn't one for everybody?
Yeah, there wasn't one, and the director didn't say it. I answer questions that my character needs to know, and nothing else. So, obviously my character doesn't know about Sean's backstory to a certain extent, so I wasn't asking those questions. But in my head, my character obviously knew what had happened to the world and why it had got to that place. So yeah, I had an idea in my head as to what had gone on.
Anybody else? Yes, right here.
How did you find the script?
It was in the back of my car. No, it's a terrible joke. How did I find the script? I got a phone call from my agent about meeting Guy Danella, who was here a couple of days ago, wasn't he, for the opening screening. Guy Danella was the producer on it. You know, would you go down to Santa Monica and meet this guy, Guy Danella? He has a film that's very quickly being made. It's going to get made in the next 2 weeks or so. And he wants you to play a character in it. So I went down without reading the script, just because I'd heard enough things about Danella to make me interested. It's a shame you guys didn't meet him, because he's a little madcap, he's a little mental. So I went down, we chatted about movies that we liked, obviously his vision for it, like The Road, like Malik, 28 Days Later, horror movies that we liked. I had recently just seen Let the Right One In, and was freaking out about it. So we goofed off on horror a little bit. He gave me the script. I met Luke Passmore, who wrote it, and that was it really, you know. He just said, I think we had 2 weeks to go, and he said, stop eating food, which I did, because he wanted me to look skinnier than I was at the time. And then I flew to Ottawa and started filming.
Anybody?
There's a guy on the left there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear WWE pick up the film last week. Were you surprised at WWE's interest in the movie, and do you know what their plan is?
Yeah, it is weird that the World Wildlife Federation has brought it. It's strange, isn't it? I think they want to put like a computer-generated panda in it or something. Turn it into a conservation movie. Yeah, I was a little surprised too, and then when I understood what the deal was, it made sense. Evidently, the WWE win Monday Night TV. They get the best ratings for Monday Night TV, and they also win Friday Night TV, showing that most people like to watch shit TV. But that's a big demographic. I think it's something like 20 million on a Monday night, 22 million on a Friday night. So obviously their demographic is young men, essentially, watching wrestling. And that would be the main kind of target audience to come and watch this film, because there is some violence that would probably turn off, you know, some of the female people in the world. So that is really our target audience. And the idea was that they're trying to branch out and start distributing films and turn it into a film studio, and this is their first real attempt to do that. So they're going to put all their efforts behind that and do a big ad campaign and open it in a bunch of cinemas. So it felt really well, and it's interesting getting involved with companies when they're in their kind of growth spurt. You know, they're really trying something new, because if it takes off, it can be an amazing thing. You can really brand their company for them, and that's a really powerful position to be in.
All right, we have time for one last one. Sure, right here.
I just want to comment that.
You're so small.
I really enjoyed the strong female characters in the film. So I think that's important to have those images for the young women to see the next generation of Ripley.
It is a Ripley type role. I love Ripley too. I mean, I remember doing a homework assignment when I was 12, and it was to write a scene from a film. And I wrote the scene in Aliens where Ripley meets Newt for the first time, and she's scrambling around in the bottom of the spaceship, and she thinks that she's an alien, and then she turns out to be a kid. And I love strong female characters. I just think that there should be equality in everything, and there are strong people in lots of different walks of life. In every job there is a strong bunch of females and a strong bunch of males. So I think it's really unfair that it tends to be represented that the men take care of the business and the women are kind of the love interest or the sexy person or the person in the bikini or something like that. I think you can have both, bikini and tough girl. That works. Tank girl. Yeah, and I think Ashley's a great representative of that. And I think if we were to do the prequel, there's a lot of talk. There's a script floating around for the prequel, which I guess would explain a little bit about how the world got to where it got to. That would also feature a lot more of a balanced group, because we were 12 at one point, and that 12 I think would be more girls and boys to balance it all out.
Yeah, Luke seemed really excited about that the other night.
Very excited, yeah. Then he drank too much and puked 3 times, I saw that. Just as a footnote. He did puke 3 times in a night, which is impressive.
It's a big evening.
Puke, carried on drinking puke, carried on drinking puked. I thought after the second one you'd be like, no, I'm going to go. Because I got used to the taste or something.
Well, thank you so much for staying down.
Thanks for watching.
Fantastic.